Mendel Lipskier, a senior Talmud of the Mizitch Magid, was once traveling, and his coach reached a steep hill. So the wagon driver, the Balagola, slowed the horses down. The Mendel calls from the wagon and says, "Whip the horses, they should go fast." So the Balagola whipped the horses and they went riding down the mountain, down the hill. They went so fast that they crashed into a big, beautiful mansion at the foot of the hill. They shattered the windows. The Putitz came running out furiously with his rifle in his hand, and he charged towards the wagon. The Balagola pointed at the wagon, saying, "He's the Balabas." So the Putitz went to the Mendel. Of course, he saw the Holy Rebbe, and he backed off. They rode off, and the Mendel asked the Balagola, "Why do you do that? Why do you send him to me?" The Balagola answered, "I had a very simple calculation. I figured, if you're a true Rebbe, then kein koil vet nicht nemen. A bullet won't be able to touch you. And if you're not a Rebbe, then you're indeed at fault." How do we know this story? When the Alter Rebbe was about to be arrested, he asked Reb Shmuel Munkes for his thoughts. Reb Shmuel Munkes told Alter Rebbe this story and concluded, if you're a Rebbe that can coil der nicht nemen, a bullet will not be able to touch you. If you're not a Rebbe, then you deserve this. Because who gave you the right to take away Olam Hazeh from so many Yidden? The question is, first of all, in what way was the Alter Rebbe so different than all the Chachamim of previous generations? The Rabbeinu Yoina, the Ramban, Chayvus Halavavis, they also teach Yidden to focus on Limud HaTorah, Avodas Hashem, and not on Olam Hazeh. In what way did the Alter Rebbe deserve this more than them? Also, why did the Reb Shmuel Munkes have to say it with a story? Now, something regarding Chanukah, the Medrash says that the Golus of Yavam, of Greeks, is called Choshech, darkness. What was so dark about that Golus? They made a Gezerah that every Yid had to edge in to the horn of his ox the words, Ein lanu chelik belikei Yisrael. We have no portion in Hashem. What exactly is the meaning of this Gezerah? What's the significance of carving it into the horn of an ox? And why, out of all Gezerahs, does this one represent darkness? What's indeed unique about a Yid? They say the Barditchever, one ordinary morning, was found dancing. They asked him, "Why are you dancing?" He said, "I woke up this morning and I remember that I'm a Yid. Is that not a reason to dance?" What's special about a Yid? So simply, we would say a Yid has a neshama. Like the Alter Rebbe writes in the second Perek in Tanya, the neshama of a Yid is a chelik eloka mimal mamish, literally a part of Hashem. And he uses the mashal of a biological child. Now, the Gemara says there are three characteristics that symbolize a Yid. Yidden have three simonim: Baishanim, Rachmanim, Goim Lechasadim. Yidden are compassionate, kind, and modest, bashful. How does a Yid have these tendencies, these characteristics? Simply, we would say it comes from our neshama. It's in our spiritual DNA. The Alter Rebbe, however, in the first Perek in Tanya, says a radical chiddush. And the Alter Rebbe says that Gam midos tovos shebeteva kol Yisrael b'toldoisam, these good natures that every Jew has innate, Ba'ois mimena, come from the animal soul within a yid. Even the animal soul. Every yid has two nefashos. A nefesh elikis and a nefesh bahamas. The nefesh elikis is absolutely dedicated to elikus, attracted to get l'chai, to godliness. The nefesh bahamas, like an animal, is self-centered and attracted to gashmias, to physicality. Yet even this beast, this nefesh bahamas, has a good side to it. There's a well-respected book on marriage, textbook for marriage therapists. The main theme of the book is that humility is the key ingredient to harmony. Sounds good. Each spouse should yield for the other one, etc. However, the author makes a premise. His premise is every human being at their core is self-centered. There is no way to overcome this, but we could work with it. A person only gives because they know that they could gain. The Alter Rebbe, in the very first parak in Tanya, tells us that this is true regarding the nefesh bahamas of a goy. It's not true regarding a yid. Not only regarding our nefesh elikis, but even with regard to our nefesh bahamas. Our animal is different. You can say the Alter Rebbe is standing up for our animals' rights. Even the awareness of this is so important. Reb Shlomo Chaim Kesselman would say, why did the Alter Rebbe begin Tanya with first telling us about our nefesh elikis? The reason is, as we learn later on in Tanya about the spiritual worlds and concepts that are abstract, it could be very difficult to find relevance. That's why the Alter Rebbe first lets us know who we are. We have a nefesh elikis, which is a part of Hashem. But notice that the Alter Rebbe first tells us who our animal is. It's important that we know that we have a different animal. And the Yevonim challenged this. Everything in the world has a spiritual source. What's the source of the animal soul, the nefesh bahamas? So Yecheskel says in his nevuah that he saw the Merkava, the sublime chariot, and there were 4 images included in it. The image of a human, an ox, an eagle, and a lion. Animals, as well as the animal soul, the animalistic soul, the nefesh bahamas, stem from the ox on the Merkava. Now, an ox has 2 capacities. The ox itself has brute strength. It could be harnessed, and it could accept a yoke, kabolas oil. When it does, it could be very useful in plowing fields and doing other beneficial work. But it also has the ability to use its horns to gore and damage. And those are all self-fulfilling. The nefesh bahamas of a goy stems from the horn. Hashem does not expect or demand of them to overcome their self-centeredness. They could. There's a concept of chasidi umas ha'olam. The nefesh bahamas of a yid stems from the actual ox itself. For the Greeks, it wasn't enough that the Yid had to denounce his nefesh elikis. The Greeks wanted we should write on the ox of a horn that you have no part in Elikei Yisrael. A Yid should not claim that he's different. Even his animal soul is the same like a goy. We work hard to harness our animal. Passion, excitement, all come from the Nefesh Bahamas. As the Chachamim say, "V'ahavtas Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavecha," we should love Hashem with all our hearts, plural. We could love Hashem even with our Nefesh Bahamas. And the Greeks challenged that. There was a Rav in Cincinnati, his name was Rabbi Zilber. He interpreted the meaning of the horn, etching in the horn of the ox. Back in the day, horns were used as baby bottles. The wide part is where they poured the milk in, and the narrow part went into the baby's mouth. The Greeks understood that they need to focus on the kids. In children, the animals could look very similar. Most disciplining issues, we are addressing the animal soul. Take bullying, for example. It's not coming from the Nefesh Elikis. It's an animalistic behavior. Now, we could be tempted to use techniques, methods, that are also used for the Goyish Nefesh Bahamas. And after all, we'll see that they work. The children are even happy. But let's suppose we had a horse. We hire a professional groomer to feed the horse, give it the right exercises, and train it that it should be obedient. Everybody's happy. One day, a professional horse trainer comes by, takes a look at the animal, and says, "Are you aware that you have a prize animal here? The food you're giving it is bloating it. The exercises are not working the necessary muscles, and the training you're giving it are only half of what it's capable of. Give the horse to me, and in no time he'll be winning races." Before we blindly embrace or accept methods and discipline, whether with children or adults, we have to ask ourselves, are these bloating our egos and arrogance, or are they promoting to harness the animal? Are they breeding self-centeredness, narcissism, or benefit to others? In short, are we teaching our animal to use its horn, or are we teaching the animal to use its body? Now let's go back to the Shmuel Munkis. But first, when the Alter Rebbe was once by the Mezritcher Maggid, he was about to leave, sitting on the wagon already, and the Avram the Malach came outside and instructed the wagon driver, he said in Yiddish, "So schmeißen de Pferd, as his own wissen, as his einen Pferd." Whip the horses so that they know that they're horses. Or another version is, whip the horses so that they cease to be horses. The Alter Rebbe heard this, stepped off the wagon, and he said he learned a new derech in Avodas Hashem. Every Yid has a horse. Powerful, swift, and it could take the Nefesh Elikis to places that it otherwise could not reach on its own. But it needs to be harnessed. And when it is, V'ahavtas Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavecha b'shnei yitzarecha. With Shmuel Munkis, when he told Alter Rebbe the story of the Mendel Hadaker, it could be this was included in that. Without Chassidus, we certainly don't breed our Nefesh Bahamas Chas v'Shalom. We ignore it. We focus on working with the Nefesh Elikis. The Alter Rebbe introduced and revealed a revolutionary derech and avodas Hashem to harness even the animal The Alter Rebbe left no part of this world out of Avodas Hashem. Everything, including the Nefesh Bahamis itself, could be used for Avodas Hashem. This, said Reb Shmuel Munkis, is revolutionary. If you're a Rebbe, then this will work, and this can be done. If you're not a Rebbe, then you should not have introduced this. So may we all succeed in working and harnessing our Nefesh Bahamis. And as it says, when Mashiach comes, will be ani v'reichev al hachamor, will ride on a donkey. Chamor doesn't just mean donkey; it also means chumrius, corporeality, gashmius, physicality. Mashiach will ride on it, ride above it. And as it's written, when Mashiach comes, the ferd v'zayin ois ferd, our animal will cease to be an animal. U'mal haaretz deyes Hashem.